Shadow of the Colossus has a very strong reputation throughout gaming culture, widely considered to be one of the best games released for the PlayStation 2, if not all time. Still, it's been 12.5 years since the original game came out, and video game standards have definitely evolved. So, with the release of a PS4 remake that completely rebuilds the classic visual models from the ground up, an interesting opportunity presented itself to us at MojoPlays to put Colossus to the ultimate test. One of our senior-most gamers in the office admitted that he hadn't played Shadow of the Colossus before, and therefore has no nostalgic ties to the game. So, rather than giving it to someone who regards Shadow of the Colossus as one of his favorite games of all time, sorry Andrew, we figured we'd see if Colossus holds up as well to a newcomer without rose-tinted glasses. Can Shadow of the Colossus stand up to modern-day scrutiny? Let's find out. The story of Shadow of the Colossus is dead simple. A young warrior named Wander travels to the Forbidden Lands following rumors that a presence there can revive his deceased loved one. Upon arriving at a temple in the middle of these lands, he strikes a deal with the totally trustworthy sealing entity named Dorman. Locate and slay the 16 colossi that roam these lands, and he'll bring that girl back to life. It's a light story, yes, but suffice to say that it's a narrative that's strengthened more by its themes and atmosphere than anything else, and we really can't go that far into it without spoiling more. Of course, the real highlight of the game are the aforementioned colossi, each being more majestic than the last, with maybe a few exceptions, and everyone requiring a different strategy to bring down. As you might expect, every single colossi behaves differently. Some may be minding their own business, others will relentlessly attack you. Yet, every single one of them feels like a believable titan that could actually exist. Many, if not most of the battles, require you to scale the colossi like the living mountains they are, holding onto a small patch of fur as they try to shake you off, plunge into the water, or soar through the air is an experience truly unlike anything else out there, and definitely the core reason to play the game. Mix in all that with an incredible soundtrack that rises and swells during these frantic struggles, and you pretty much have the very definition of epic right there. Of course, this being a remake of a PlayStation 2 title released on the PlayStation 4, the game has been given plenty of improvements, with the most obvious one being the graphical. These are some of the best visuals we've seen on a console to date. The landscape here has an incredible amount of detail packed into it, from the jaw-dropping cliffs to the grassy plains that actually show grass, stunning rainforests with incredible lighting, shadow effects to give an impeccable sense of realism, and holy draw distance, Batman! Look how far you can see! So yeah, it's a remake of an old PS2 game, but damned if it doesn't rival the best this generation has to offer. Although Wander's face model could probably use a bit more time in the oven. There are some notable quality of life improvements as well with the game's controls. Jump is now mapped to the much more modern X button instead of triangle. Seriously, why was that even a thing? Grip, or hold on, has been moved from R1 to the much more comfortable R2 trigger, and dodge rolling now has its own dedicated button, meaning that you don't have to crouch first in order to roll. Of course, if for whatever sadistic reason you prefer the classic layout, you can still change to that in the menu. Like its story, the game's structure is also really straightforward. You get a hint about the Colossi's location, you use your sword as a compass in order to find it, you travel across the atmospheric landscape in search, then engage it in combat and find a way to stab its glowing points in order to defeat it. When you're done, you get warped back to Dorman's temple, and then you begin again. It may seem deceptively simple, and sometimes a bit repetitive, but every single time you head out, you're likely to come across a whole new area to discover, and the added horsepower of the PS4 really makes the journey breathtaking. Plus, it's one of those games where you really want to keep going just to see what the next surprise will be, and what epic new moments the game has in store for you. So, from a total newcomer's perspective, is the game still the flawless masterpiece that so many others have claimed over the years? Well, not quite flawless, as we do have a few issues. The camera can be a problem at times, which from what I've been told was actually already an issue with the original. Plus, aside from tracking and fighting Colossi, the only other activity in the game is to collect pieces of fruit off of trees to increase your health, or to pinpoint and shoot blue-tailed lizards to boost your stamina. Neither activity is very compelling, as their small appearance compared to the large world can make them kinda hard to spot. And the lizards are pretty irritating to collect, considering how much these little bastards scamper around and how stiff the aiming is. I was only able to collect like 3 lizards' tails, and was still able to beat the game no problem though. Actually, there is one other collectible added to the remake, and these are gold coin relics. Honestly though, they're basically unnecessary, as individually they don't add any gameplay perks or upgrades, nor are they tied to any PlayStation trophies, and it has recently been discovered that the item you get for collecting all 79 of them is kind of a letdown. We did also run into issues where collecting them actually caused the game to crash, though a quick database rebuild on our PS4 seems to have fixed the issue. The game is also kinda short. Again, this is from a first playthrough with no experience whatsoever, and we beat the game in only 5.5 hours. Fortunately, there are a few extras included, such as a time attack mode against any of the previously defeated Colossi, which can unlock some rather nifty weapons, skins, and items, as well as a mirrored world, which becomes available after your first playthrough. At the end of the day though, Shadow of the Colossus still does its main draw incredibly well. Taking on these Goliaths is an incredible experience, one that each and every gamer at least needs to just check out once in their lifetime. And the added improvements of the PS4 remake make it an experience well worth venturing into, gold coins aside. Whether you're trying the game for the first time or you want to relive some nostalgia, it's certainly worth taking the venture into the Forbidden Lands. Thanks for watching MojoPlays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.